Picture this. It is June of 1982. High over the Lebanon Valley, the sky suddenly turns into a mathematical impossibility. We are talking about one lone fighter jet staring down 5 enemy targets.
1 versus 5. Now, if you know anything about standard aerial warfare, you know these odds aren't just bad, they are essentially an absolute death sentence. Down below, 5 Syrian MiG-21s had just broken formation, turning the open sky into a highly lethal kill zone. But the pilot sitting in the cockpit of that lone F-15 Eagle, Moshe Melnik, well, he wasn't planning on dying today.
Let's dive into Part 1, the radar advantage, and the sheer engineering superiority of the F-15.
To really understand how Melnik survived this, we have to break down a very cold, highly calculated engineering advantage. See, while those MiGs were undeniably fast, they severely lacked advanced sensors. Basically, they were flying blind. The F-15 Eagle, on the other hand, possessed a terrifying advantage. It had an intensely advanced radar system that could completely pierce the sky. Melnik had this crystal-clear picture of all 5 targets miles and miles away. He was tracking their every move long before their own ground controllers even knew an F-15 was operating in the sector.
He possessed the absolute ultimate weapon in aerial combat, and that weapon is information. And it's exactly this critical intelligence advantage that allowed Melnik to set up a devastating, entirely invisible trap. Moving to Part 2, the invisible trap and executing beyond visual range.
What happened next was a classic beyond visual range engagement. It is a stealthy, incredibly deliberate execution of airborne lethality. The trap snapped shut almost instantly. While he was still miles away, completely invisible to the naked enemy eye, Melnik executed Step 1. He launched his first radar-guided Sparrow missile. Boom! 1 MiG dissolved into a fireball. Then, moving right to Step 2, before the remaining 4 pilots could even react to this ghost attack, or even realize where the threat was originating from, Melnik fired again. Just like that, 2 down.
This forces a major tactical pivot, bringing us to Part 3, outclimbing gravity. Suddenly, the distance collapsed. The 3 surviving MiGs finally spotted the lone Eagle, forcing a classic, absolutely chaotic dogfight. Now, this is exactly the moment where a massive jet like the F-15 should have been highly vulnerable against those nimbler, much smaller MiGs. But instead of playing their game, Melnik utilized a brutal tactical pivot. Rather than turning with them on a horizontal plane, which is a fight he absolutely would have lost, he pulled the nose straight up. He exploited the Eagle's massive thrust-to-weight ratio. He used engines so incredibly powerful that they allowed his heavy jet to literally outclimb gravity itself, completely leaving the MiGs stalling out in his wake.
The timeline of the resulting slaughter is straight out of a movie. Dropping back down out of the blinding sun, Melnik locked onto the 3rd MiG with a heat-seeking Sidewinder missile. Splash 3. Barely 15 seconds later, a 4th MiG maneuvered wildly, trying to escape, only to slide right into his crosshairs. Vaporized. And then began the relentless pursuit. The 5th and final Syrian pilot panicked. He broke hard toward the safety of the horizon. But Melnik hunted him down, closed the gap, and fired his absolute last missile.
Which leads us into Part 4, absolute dominance, as clear skies returned.
Just like that, the skies cleared over the valley. All that chaos quickly faded into an eerie, total silence. Let's summarize this flawless display of modern aerial dominance we've been tracking. 5 engagements, 5 confirmed kills, absolute tactical execution. For anyone studying modern conflict, this explainer proves a terrifying reality. Raw numbers just do not dictate victory anymore. Melnik engineered a total win against totally overwhelming odds through sheer mechanical and tactical mastery.
But you know what the most shocking statistic of this entire engagement actually is? It's the damage sustained by the F-15. 0. Absolutely 0 hits taken.
It truly remains one of the most terrifyingly perfect engagements in modern history. And it leaves us with a crucial question to consider as we close out this explainer. Does superior engineering and absolute tactical execution always rewrite the odds?